for the last part of this show, we're going to transition quickly to. I'm not going to say quickly because this topic it varies in length, but who would you rather build around a certain player versus the field? And to keep the summer league trend going, I'm going to do a rookie. Scoot Henderson is my would you rather build around player. So my first player, who would you rather build around, guys? Scoot Henderson or LaMelo Ball? Riv, you go first.
God damn it. That's tough.
I know what
Uh,
I'm thinking.
I'm gonna take. I'm gonna say Scoot. I'm gonna go Scoot. I like the athletic pop. I like the fact that he puts an insane amount of pressure on the rim. Underrated playmaker. The physical tools are there as a guard, and I know guards don't usually translate as the best player on the championship team. But with the way Scoot handles the rock, the way he can just create for himself, create for others, can get to the rim. LaMelo still doesn't have that pressure at the rim yet, and he still plays a little funky way. And then Scoot gives me more defensive versatility. Maybe not versatility. Defensive intensity is the word I want to use. So I would go Scoot here on this one.
I'm also going Scoot. I think Scoot is going to be like a top 10 player in basketball. That's how high I am on him. I think his 3-point shot's going to come along. I think he's just such an insane, pressure at the rim. I think he's an insane passer as well. I mean, he in his 20 minutes of playing basketball, he had a few passes that I've barely seen from other players in summer league at that stage. Like, I think he's a legit creator for others and for himself. I think the finishing at the rim is kind of a big separator there. To be like a great star in the league, that's kind of like a trait you kind of need to have. And LaMelo is, historically and just yearly one of the worst finishers in the league around the basket. So, and I trust his frame more. They both kind of do seem to get hurt a little bit, but I do like Scoot more.
Yeah, this one stinks because I think we all agree it's pretty close, but I would take Scoot too. One part of it is I agree with what Riv said, what Zach said, but just the foundation to stack skills. Like, you just can't teach that frame at that age. You can't teach that motor. He's got elements to him that just scream alpha player. And I think those physical tools are going to translate defensively eventually in a way it won't for LaMelo. I think Scoot Henderson, I think the most important element of a franchise player is rim pressure because that's the center of all gravity. Even if you are a shoot first player, you got to be a great finisher or it closes everything. So Scoot Henderson, I think just because he's going to be excellent there. LaMelo Ball, I'm not sure. Those two things separated for me. So I agree with Scoot Henderson as the pick. And my next player, Scoot Henderson or Paolo Banchero.
Oh,
Zach.
Man, I like both these dudes a lot. I loved Paulo out of Duke. I'm probably going to go with Paulo, a lot of it because of the versatility and positional size. And I think he has a lot of the passing chops. I think he has, his 3-point shooting was really bad last year, but I think he's got upside as a 3-level scorer. I think he does have sneaky athleticism. I always thought it was weird how that was one of his cons coming to the NBA. He's obviously a nice athlete. I don't know. I really think he's going to be a guy. I think he's going to figure out his mid-range dominance again like he had at Duke. I'm pretty high on Banchero. I think he's also going to be in the top 10 player conversation at some point.
This one is tough for me because how many power forwards like that with that type of game? I don't know if Banchero is ever going to be an elite defender at the rim. I don't know if he's ever going to be able to protect the rim and be as versatile in that department. So I'll probably bank on Scoot. I'm gonna take Scoot here. I love Banchero. I love his mid-range game. I loved his face-up game. I love the fact that he can attack the rim. I like his mismatch game. But I think for a big like him, if you want to play him small, will he be good enough to protect the rim? Would he be good enough to defend in space and switches? I think for Scoot, point guard defense may be the least valuable out of defense, but I think what he provides on that end plus the offense, I think he can give you that same type of ability. So I'm gonna go Scoot.
Those are good points. I would take Paolo as well. I just think at the end of the day, you can't teach 6'10". You can't teach 6'10", 6'11", that build at that age. I just think in the playoffs, Paolo is going to be a playoff mismatch nightmare because you want to put a athletic mobile wing. He's going to punish that. like a smaller wing, he's going to punish that. He's too quick for an average center. He does these things. He's got a great feel. He's got great feet around the rim. Like Scoot, I think his jumper is going to get better. I think in the playoffs, offensively, he is going to be a bigger mismatch nightmare. And I saw a lot of good stuff from Paolo. He exceeded my expectations as a rim protector year one from what I expected. Like his metrics were pretty good as a rim protector relative to like expectations. Like he was above average. And I agree. It's a great question about Paolo. Like, will he ever be an elite defender? I'm not so sure. And, same thing for Scoot. Like, I think Scoot has the tools to be a great defender. Will he have the stamina for it? I think those two questions have to be considered as well. Like, it takes a very rare, usually 6'2" guards of that usage aren't elite defenders either. So I consider that. And also just, I think in the playoffs, I don't know who the heck you put on Banchero unless you just have one
Bam
of those.
Adebayo.
Yeah, like I said, if you have an ace, that's one thing,
Yeah.
right? But like that's it. That's it. But then because he's got pick and roll ability, if he gets off of you, then he can get on a favorable mismatch, and he's got a great feel already going back to college of finding mismatches. So I think Paolo has a chance. I know this is a hot take. I think he has a chance to be a top 5 player someday.
No, for sure.
I would take it a step further from 10. I mean, like after I think I made a tweet the other day, Riv, and you're like, ooh, that's bold. I was like, dude, it's so clearly like Luka, Victor, Ant, and Paolo as the 4 young guys.
Oh yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
I stand by that. I think he's not that I would take him over any of those other 3, but I do think he's the 4th guy in that conversation.
Who's the 5th? Scoot?
It's Cade, bro. Let's have some respect, man.
Yeah.
You're the one who had him in the Boomer Bust year thing.
Yeah, but let's not do that now. He's definitely 5.
That's a great.
What about Scotty Barnes, James?
Oh my god.
I love Scotty, but no.
I'll put Chet over Scotty.
That's fine. I'll put Chet over Cade.
Oh, that's not that bad. That's actually not that bad.
Okay. I'm trying to think who'd be the 5th guy in that. Like under 25. You can't put Shea. You can't put Tatum. That's hard. Trae Young, I think, deserves a lot of nod there. Like it would be Ja, but
unless he's 25.
Is he 25? He's under 25 still.
It'd be Zion easily if he could stay healthy.
Zion. Zion would be 4. Honestly, if he could stay healthy, Zion would probably be 4.
But it's like one of those things. Like
it would be Zar Giant. It would be Zar Zion. Their names.
Yeah, John Moran has to be 5 then. Yeah. Respectfully.
Yeah, probably Ja. I would put Ja even with.
I'll put Trae over Ja just because I trust Trae more to keep himself out.
That makes
trouble.
Sense. It's one of those guys though, for sure.
Yeah, even Evan Mobley has an off chance to get into that conversation if his offense grows because his defense is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And even though his offense got exposed in the playoffs, he was averaging 17 in his second year.
I'm trying to think of other guys. I think those are the guys.
Halliburton, maybe.
Oh, good.
Hallie deserves that nod.
If we're saying Hallie,
I wouldn't put him over a couple of those guys, but he's in the top 8 for sure.
He's top 10 for that conversation, probably.
Okay, before we just keep spoiling this topic, okay, Scoot Henderson or Cade Cunningham, long term.
No comment.
I'll take Scoot. Probably.
You know what?
I mean, I don't like talking about injury stuff too much because I think they both kind of have those questions there. But I mean, we'll see what Cade looks like coming off of missing basically a whole year, and then he had stuff his rookie year too. It's worth mentioning, but I think in general as well, I think Scoot as a prospect was around that same level, and I think it would have been a question who would have went first overall if Scoot was in that class with Cunningham and all those guys. But yeah, I'd probably lean Scoot.
I think this one's tough because different from the LaMelo question because LaMelo, Cade, same size. Cade, I think, would have went 1 in that draft. I think he was a better prospect than LaMelo coming out.
Yeah, probably.
Cade just has every intangible in the book that you want in a leader. But the problem is he hasn't shown you the game tape enough in the NBA. So it's really going to be hard. But I got to bank on my guy. I got to bank on the fact that he has the intangibles plus the mid-range. He showed promise, elite mid-range-like ability in his rookie year. He showed strides as a really good defender, good switchable defender, as a playmaker. Has always been there. It's just if the shooting can stick. He did change his jumper up in those 12 games he played last year. It looked god-awful. Hopefully he changes it back to the other one because that second one was really, really bad. But I'm gonna go Cade here because I still think he has top 10 potential. I think they both have similar like potential. I think Cade can maybe reach top 5, with that size, that the intangibles, that ability. But I think both of these guys have top 10 potential, so I'll go Cade.
I'll go Scoot because with Cade Cunningham, my question
Here we go.
is, what is going to be his absolute like elite trait? Because I think if you're a top 5 player, you need it. I think Cade Cunningham can. I think if you're a top 20 player, I think his feel, his size, his intangibles, all those things can translate to that upside, top 20, top 15. But Scoot Henderson, man, he's just got a different build about him. He's got a different gear to him physically. And you add that to, I think, a comparable playmaking level of talent. I mean, Scoot's playmaking is really good, So I lean into traits usually when I'm talking about the best players in the NBA. And I just think Scoot has, his best traits are on a higher spectrum than Cade's, even though, like, the idea of Cade coming in was like Luka, but people forget Luka's like 6'8", 250 sometimes. Like, that's an elite trait. Like,
He's more Tatum.
He's Luka, So I'm just wondering with Cade, what is going to be just his absolute, like, undeniably elite thing? Because I think you need it. And mid-range might be the closest thing to that. But if there's one thing I would not want to be my elite trait is my mid-range shot. So
makes sense.
So yeah, that is okay. I think I'm gonna do one more before we end this show. I just got to figure out which person that's going to be. Okay, I'm going to do both players haven't played a minute in the NBA.
Ooh.
So Scoot Henderson or Chet Holmgren?
Oh, I thought you was gonna do Amon.
I thought you were doing like Cooper Flag or something.
Dang. See, the thing with centers is centers and point guards are wild cards in the top 10 because there isn't many centers, but there isn't many point guards. There's like 2 point guards and Luka's a hybrid. There's 2 centers, but Embiid's a choker. So it's legitimately the Joker and Steph. That's top 10 true point guard, true centers at the position. That's like certified winners. They're elite MVPs, all that good stuff. You mentioned elite traits, and Chet's probably going to be an elite rim protector in the NBA. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be his elite trait, and I think that is extremely valuable. I mean, we saw Rudy Gobert be one of the most valuable players in the league 4 years straight in the regular season because he was an elite rim protector. He was an elite defender. And I think Chet can bring that also with a fluid offensive game. So I would go Chet here. I think Chet, we forget because of the injury, was a highly touted prospect, was a guy who was looked at as a unicorn who can come in, be an elite rim protector, has a nice soft touch around the rim, had shown flashes of being a spacer, being able to shoot the jumper. So I think if he can put all that together, I think his absolute best and Scoot's absolute best, I would lean Chet. So I'm going to go Chet here.
I love that. Yeah.
I'm very 50-50 on this. I think they both have like the it factor as players. I think they're both like tough as nails, and I think they're both going to be really good. I would probably lean towards Scoot a little bit, but I
picked Scoot for every answer. I got him.
I took Follow.
Oh, yeah, that's the one he didn't take. Scoot. This is a Scoot guy. Got him.
I'm a big Scoot guy. I think he's gonna be really great. I think he has it. I think he's gonna have a great rookie year. I don't know. I just think his overall offensive impact is gonna be pretty undeniable. I think he's gonna be one of the best playmakers in the league at some point, and a really great scorer at the same time. And then with the 6'7", I don't know what his wingspan is. Either 6'7" or 6'9" wingspan.
It's really big.
It's like great. Like I think he has good defensive upside. I don't think he's got like I don't think he'll be an all NBA type defender, but I think he can be a good defender. And then combine that with, being one of the better offensive guards in basketball is what I think he'll be. I just, the only concern I would have is what he does defensively in the playoffs and, those types of matchups and, who do teams put on him? Like if they're like matched against like the Rockets or something, like, do they go and put on Thompson who's gonna be like 6'7" on him? Like that's what they did in the summer league game too. But yeah, I'd probably just barely lean Scoot.
I want to say Chet because I do agree with Riv. I think Chet, like I think the best outcome for Chet is better than Scoot's best outcome. And I would even take it a step further. I think if healthy, if both players are guaranteed to always play, I think Chet's worst outcome is better than Scoot's worst outcome. So I think if we took that into account, I think that it would be Chet. And obviously, like, he's got a personal connection. Like, his family is friends with my uncle's family. So there's sort of a secondary connection there. He went to my cousin's school growing up, right? Like, so I told them, like, hey, if he ever needs a friend to talk to, I mean, I got him. If he ever feels lonely in the NBA, like if he needs a friend, I got him. This is hard because I say that, but then I also worry a little bit about I worry about Chet's health more. I do, even though Scoot's been hurt a little bit. Chet, like sometimes his falls scare me. The way like he moves in the perimeter scares me a little bit. Like it feels like he's about to trip wrong. You know, like there's a couple things that scare me there. So for that reason, I would lean Scoot. And even though I think Chet has like an individual more upside, I think Scoot as like the heartbeat of your team has a little more individual upside as well. So I am leaning Scoot here, but it's so close because I love both.
I like that answer. That's not bad. These are all great players. And Scoot's one of them ones.
Yep. And Scoot Henderson or Jaden McDaniels. Okay, all three said Jaden McDaniels. Okay, we'll end the show right here. All right.